The Daniel Morgan case is a stain that will not wash out, a haunting reminder of how justice can be derailed by those sworn to uphold it. It's a saga of institutional decay, where the protectors became the perpetrators, and the very system meant to deliver justice instead fostered corruption and secrecy. Officially, it's the most investigated and most corrupted case in British criminal history, with countless inquiries, reviews, and failed prosecutions spanning decades. For over 35 years, the truth has been buried under lies, missing files, and manipulated evidence, as if the case itself was designed never to be solved. Police officers worked hand in glove with the very criminals they were supposed to be investigating, blurring the line between law enforcement and organized crime. In 2021, after years of relentless campaigning, an independent panel finally called the Metropolitan Police institutionally corrupt, confirming what the Morgan family had claimed for decades and exposing a culture of cover-ups. The Met admitted it prioritized its own reputation over justice, actively concealing its failings and protecting the guilty, rather than seeking the truth or serving the public. The killers remain free, while Daniel's family, led by his brother Alistair, continues their lonely, exhausting fight for accountability, refusing to let his memory fade. The case forces us to ask, if the police can't be trusted to investigate the murder of a potential whistleblower, who can they be trusted to protect? And what does that mean for the rest of us? On the cold night of March 10, 1987, Daniel Morgan, a respected private investigator, devoted father of two, and a man known for his relentless pursuit of the truth, was found brutally murdered in a South London pub car park. The discovery shocked the local community and sent ripples through the city. An axe was embedded in his skull, a savage, calculated execution that left no doubt about the killer's intent. The violence of the attack was chilling, suggesting a message meant to terrify. Strangely, his wallet was missing, but both cash and a valuable Rolex watch were left untouched at the scene. It was clear this was not a simple mugging gone wrong. This was no robbery. It was a professional hit, meticulously planned and executed with chilling precision. Daniel had been investigating police corruption, digging into the darkest corners of the force, and was preparing to go public with explosive findings that could have rocked the establishment. In the weeks before his death, he confided to close friends that he was onto something big: corrupt officers deeply involved in drug trafficking and organized crime. He feared for his safety, but refused to back down. The killer took his wallet, likely to erase evidence of his investigation, perhaps documents, notes, or names that could have exposed a criminal network. The brutality of the murder sent a chilling message: silence the whistleblower, erase the threat, and warn anyone else who might dare to speak out. The image of the axe became a grim symbol of a case the authorities would spend decades failing, or perhaps even refusing to solve, as suspicion and controversy grew. What secrets was Daniel about to expose? That question has haunted the case ever since, fueling speculation, conspiracy theories, and calls for justice. His murder was the opening act in a story of corruption, cover-ups, and betrayal that would shake the very foundations of British justice for decades to come. The investigation was doomed from the start. Detective Sergeant Sid Fillery, assigned to the case, was secretly working for Daniel's detective agency and was close to the prime suspect, Jonathan Rees. The fox was guarding the henhouse. Fillery's presence at the crime scene compromised everything. He was there to protect his friends, not find Daniel's killer. Soon after, Fillery retired from the police and became Rees's business partner, stepping into Daniel's shoes. This brazen move should have triggered alarm bells at Scotland Yard, but nothing happened. The investigation was sabotaged from within, setting a precedent for decades of corruption. The system showed it could be manipulated, and the suspects learned they were untouchable. The first betrayal poisoned the well of justice forever. 5 police inquiries, £30 million spent, and still no justice for Daniel Morgan. Each investigation began with promises, only to collapse amid missing files, intimidated witnesses, and abandoned leads. Corrupt officers from the original case tainted later inquiries. Evidence was lost, and key witnesses discredited. Even covert surveillance capturing suspects discussing the murder wasn't enough. Internal corruption derailed everything. The Met seemed more interested in protecting itself than pursuing the truth. The force investigated itself and always found itself blameless. This wasn't just incompetence, it was a culture of self-preservation at the expense of justice. At the heart of the case, a tight-knit group: Jonathan Rees, Sid Fillery, and the Vian brothers. Rees, Daniel's business partner, stood to gain most from his death and was the last to see him alive. Fillery, the corrupt detective, became Rees's partner after the murder, ensuring the investigation was compromised. The Vian brothers, known for violence, were suspected as the muscle behind the killing. Despite multiple arrests, none were convicted. The final trial collapsed before a verdict. Their power came from connections: corrupt police, journalists, and media figures, shielding them from justice. The failure to convict wasn't just about one murder. It exposed a criminal conspiracy embedded in London's police and press. The suspects operated with impunity, protected by a network that spanned both sides of the law. After Daniel's death, Southern investigations thrived under Rees and Fillery, becoming a hub for illegal information gathering. Their biggest client, the News of the World, Britain's top-selling tabloid. Rees became the go-to man for Fleet Street, earning huge sums by supplying secrets, often obtained through criminal means. Corrupt police officers fed him confidential data. Burglaries and illegal hacks were routine. The press got sensational headlines, while Rees and his network gained money and protection. This alliance allowed them to intimidate witnesses and discredit anyone probing Daniel's murder. The very newspapers that should have exposed the crime were funding the suspects. The corruption wasn't just in the police, it had infected the media, creating a shadow state of mutual benefit. Daniel's murder became the foundation for an empire of sleaze that would later rock the nation. In 2008, after decades of failure, Rees, Fillery, and the Vian brothers were finally charged with Daniel's murder. The trial at the Old Bailey was supposed to be the reckoning, but it collapsed in 2011 before the defense even spoke. The reason: catastrophic police failures. Evidence was lost, witness statements compromised, and the prosecution fatally undermined. The suspects were acquitted, not because they were proven innocent, but because the case was irreparably tainted. The Met apologized, admitting corruption had crippled the investigation from the start. But the apology was hollow. The suspects walked free, and another trial was impossible. In a final twist, the suspects sued the police for malicious prosecution and won over $400,000 in damages. The men suspected of murder for decades were now compensated by the taxpayer. In the Daniel Morgan case, accountability never reached the powerful. The collapse of the Morgan trial was just the beginning. Months later, the phone hacking scandal exploded, shutting down the News of the World, Rees's biggest client. The same corrupt network exposed by Daniel's murder was now at the heart of a national scandal. Rees, after serving time for another crime, was rehired by the paper's editor, Andy Coulson, who later worked for the Prime Minister. The illegal tactics perfected by Southern investigations had become standard in British media. The Leveson inquiry exposed the toxic relationship between press and police, haunted by Daniel's ghost. The rot Daniel tried to expose had spread to the highest levels of public life, while his killers remained free. Through decades of corruption, cover-ups, and repeated institutional failure, one force never wavered: the Morgan family. Their determination became a beacon of hope in a system that too often seemed stacked against them. Led by Daniel's brother Alistair, the family endured 5 failed investigations, a collapsed trial, and the insult of seeing suspects compensated. Each setback only strengthened their resolve, fueling their relentless pursuit of the truth. In 2023, the Met finally settled with the family for $2 million, at last admitting it had prioritized its own reputation over justice. This admission was a small victory in a much larger battle. But for the Morgans, it was never about money. It was about accountability, truth, and restoring faith in the justice system. Their campaign was always about something bigger than compensation. Their persistence forced the government to launch an independent panel, whose 2021 report confirmed the Met's institutional corruption. The findings sent shockwaves through the public and the police alike. Yet despite decades of struggle, the killers remain free. The fight for a criminal conviction continues. Justice, for the Morgans, is still unfinished business. The Daniel Morgan case is a litmus test for British justice, a chilling reminder that without transparency and accountability, justice is just a word, not a reality. The Morgan family's unyielding quest is a testament to the power of ordinary people standing up against overwhelming odds, refusing to be silenced or intimidated. Their fight is for Daniel, and for a society where no one is above the law and where justice is not just promised, but delivered. Subscribe for more real stories that expose the truth and shine a light on the pursuit of justice.